excellence in sports reporting, and Best News Series for Outside the Huddle. News General Assignment reporting for unity within our community. And the Award of Merit for Bethlehem Baptist Burns Again. Thank you, West Alabama, for trusting us to tell your stories.
The views expressed in the following program do not necessarily represent the views of the staff and management of WVUA 23.
Bringing you analysis and insight into the Crimson Tide. Your Crimson cover hosts, John Copeland, Mike Parker, and Chase Goodbread. Sponsored by Burnham Hahn and by Crimson Village.
Welcome into Crimson Cover Television on WVUA 23. I'm Chase Goodbread, the sports columnist with the Tuscaloosa News. I'm joined by former Alabama All-American defensive end John Copeland. Our third co-host, Mike Parker, unable to be with us this week. Hopefully we get Mike back next week. We got a lot going on. Talking to Alabama basketball, the end of the road for the Crimson Tide. They fall in the Sweet 16. We'll be talking about that game against San Diego State that did not go Alabama's way. Basketball transfer news already trickling out in the wake of that loss. We're going to look ahead a little bit to what Nate Oates has in front of him for next season. Spring football practice underway. We'll be touching on some news and notes in that regard. NFL offseason, a lot going on. But, John, here you go. San Diego State knocks off Alabama 71-64 in the Sweet 16. Alabama just 3 out of 27 from three-point range. SDSU's defense, and here we go to the highlights, was absolutely outstanding. You tip your cap, you got to the way San Diego State defended the three-pointer. But nevertheless, you would expect Alabama to do more inside, and there you see a big dunk right there by Nick Pringle. But that's what Alabama needed more of to win this game, is scoring at the rim, and they didn't get it.
No, Chase, listen. This is pretty simple. Once Alabama's three-point shot was taken away, there was no way they could win this basketball game. And it goes back to elementary, junior high, high school. The older guys, the more experienced guy, and if you look at this San Diego State team, they look like they live in a weight room. And we have seniors playing against freshmen and sophomores. Psychologically, they was beat before they got on the floor because any senior is not going to lose to an underclassman. You got guys that have been in the weight room 4 years, 3-4 years, 5 in some cases, playing against a bunch of freshmen that just stepped on campus, was in high school last year. There was it doesn't matter. Once they took the three-point shot away from Alabama, there was nothing else Alabama can do, and that's not taking anything away from Alabama.
You know what? I'm going to completely agree with you that Alabama struggled with the physicality that San Diego State brought to the game. There's no question San Diego State was the more physical team, the older team, the more experienced team. I get that, right? If the teams were fighting in an alley, you take San Diego State all day. They were physically bigger and stronger. That being said, there was a height advantage for Alabama at multiple positions. And I'm not talking an inch or two. I'm talking 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches at multiple positions.
I understand.
Nate Oates needed to exploit that height advantage and take this game above the rim when he didn't have the three-pointer to lean on, and he was not able to do it. The pick and roll really wasn't there for Alabama, and as we've talked about before, they don't feed the post in the Nate Oates offense.
And I get that, Chase, and you're exactly right in the perfect world. But you always have to go back to the fact that you have seniors who's been in the weight room for 4 years, in some cases on this team, 5 years, playing against a 7-foot guy that probably weighed 35, 40 pounds less than the guy that is shorter than him. He is not going to be strong enough to bang that guy out consistently with his age. He's not a veteran tall guy. He's a young tall guy.
San Diego State's defense also had 8 blocked shots, right? So not only were they stopping the three-pointer on the perimeter, but when Javon Quinterly, Mark Sears went to the rim to try to get some easy layups, San Diego State was there for the block, right? I mean,
throwing it in the bleachers. And look, Chase. It doesn't mean that Alabama basketball team wasn't good. It doesn't mean that they broke the school record. It doesn't mean that they was a bad basketball team. It doesn't mean that. I think this team is a phenomenal basketball team. I think they got the energy around this basketball team through the roof going forward. But look, they ran up against an opponent that was as physically better, and the maturity level of that team they played with was much more than Alabama. And I don't know if Alabama will ever get the chance to have that kind of team that can play a team like that, to have a team full of seniors.
A key sequence in the game, John, Alabama was down 5 at halftime. They made a nice run to open the second half. They went up by 9 points. Alabama was ahead in this game 48-39 at one point. And then San Diego State went on a 12-0 run to go up 51-48. Darian Trammell, who was their leading scorer with 20 points, he had 8 points in that 12-0 run and kind of turned this thing around and put Alabama on its heels really for the rest of the game. That was a key sequence. That was the point in the game where Alabama's three-point shooting needed to ramp up, and instead it stayed flat.
They took it away. They took the three-point shot away. And if you take the three-point shot away from Alabama, they do not have the presence inside without the guards driving against bigger men to be a factor. And we've talked about that on the show before. Without the inside game, if they take the three-point shot away, there's no factor inside for this Alabama basketball team.
All right, let's quickly discuss Brandon Miller, the star freshman who's going straight to the NBA, no doubt about it, a top 5 probably pick in the NBA draft. Might have been his worst game of the season, let's be honest, John. He shot 3 for 19. He was 1 for 10 from the three-point line. And he coughed up 6 turnovers, which also, that was the most turnovers out of any Alabama player. He did have 11 rebounds, and he did draw a lot of attention from the defense. But that was a rough game for Brandon Miller. It felt like he mentally wasn't there. It really did.
Chase, we're talking about a kid that was playing high school basketball last year. We're talking about a kid have taken this team to a #1 seed in the tournament. We're talking about a kid who is on the biggest stage of his life. Do you understand how much pressure is on this kid? Do you understand how much pressure been on this kid throughout the entire basketball season? At some point, an 18, 19-year-old kid is going to break. Does that make him a bad basketball player? No. The kid he's a baby. In this setting, I understand that he didn't show up. Us as fans, we're looking at this kid, oh, you've done this, you've done this. But those times he was doing that, the lights weren't as bright.
All right, really quickly, last point for you. Nate Oates caught some criticism in this game for putting his timeouts in his pocket in the second half. Nate Oates did not call a timeout in the second half until there was 1 minute and 14 seconds left in the game, by which point Alabama was pretty much done. If you're Nate Oates, don't you got to call a couple timeouts with 8 minutes to go, with 6 minutes to go, to try to pull your team together and change something to alter the course of the game?
Sitting on the sideline, you would think so. Sitting at home watching TV, you would think so. But if you think back about this Alabama basketball team, there have been several times throughout the year they've been behind and they played through it and they've been successful. As a coach, as a guy, a quarterback, couch quarterback, call a timeout. But them guys have played through that several times this year.
All right, we got a lot more to come here on Crimson Cover. When we come back, we're going to look ahead to the 2023-24 season for Nate Oates and the Crimson Tide. Quick look at spring football as well, and plenty more. So stay with us. You're watching Crimson Cover Television on WVUA 23.
Burnham Hahn Exterminators offers termite and pest control solutions for residential and commercial customers in the West Alabama area. Family owned and operated, now in its third generation, we stay up to date with the latest advancements in the pest control industry to protect your family and home from pests. We're an authorized operator of the Centricon baiting system. Burnham Hahn Exterminators, here when you need us. Call us today for your complete termite and pest control services.
Alabama weather changes fast. That's why you can trust Chief Meteorologist Richard Scott and the WVUA 23 Fast Track Weather Team
Severe thunderstorms coming into West Alabama
to connect you to the most accurate forecasts.
We do have severe storms moving in.
And up-to-the-minute severe weather coverage.
You need to be in a safe place now.
Tracking the storms that threaten your family.
Seeing life-threatening wind conditions as this severe thunderstorm.
Get connected with the WVUA 23 Fast Track Weather Team. WVUA 23 News, proud to win 4 Abby Awards from the Alabama Broadcasters Association. Excellence in Sports Reporting. And Best News Series for Outside the Huddle. News General Assignment Reporting for Unity Within Our Community. And the Award of Merit for Bethlehem Baptist Burns Again. Thank you, West Alabama, for trusting us to tell your stories.
There's a formula for success. It takes practice, persistence, and an unwavering drive. Together, our aspirations become reality. Every triumph has its origin story. Ours begin right here, the University of Alabama, where legends are made.
Welcome back to Crimson Cover Television on WVUA 23. This segment brought to you by Burnham Hahn Exterminators and that great local service since 1946. Burnham Hahn offers complete pest and termite services for residential or commercial needs, as well as mosquito control and fire ant treatments. And of course, they're licensed operators of the Centricon termite colony elimination system. If you're a homeowner, you've got to have that year-round service. So call Clay Hahn and his staff. They'll get you going with a monthly or quarterly pest control program. You can reach them at 553-4433 or visit burnhamhahn.com. All right, John, we're going to stay on the basketball topic for a little bit longer, kind of spin things forward to next season for Nate Oates. Right now, as we sit here, and we're still not 100% sure of this, but my presumption is Brandon Miller is going to be gone. Noah Clowney is going to be gone to the NBA draft, so that's 2 one-and-dones.
Yes.
And Javon Quinterly, even though he's got one more season of eligibility, I expect him to probably go as well.
That's right.
So those are your 3 primary players moving on. Namari Burnett, the transfer from Texas Tech, has announced he's going in the transfer portal. We might see Nick Pringle get in the portal. We might see Jaden Bradley get in the portal. We don't know. It could be a complete redo for Nate Oates all over again.
That's the nucleus of the whole team, those guys.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Pringle, why would Pringle leave, though? He had success.
If you're Nick, look, I'm not speaking for him, but he was a backup behind Charles Bediako. Guys want to play, right? If he wants to get more, it's about minutes to these guys. It's about minutes.
I get it. Yeah, you're right. I get it.
But the four guys, I think, in my opinion, that are the guys that Nate Oates really needs to re-recruit, right? And make sure they don't get in the portal. Make sure they come back. Four guys. Jaden Bradley, who would be coming back for his sophomore year. Mark Sears. Charles Bediako. And Nick Pringle. That's two point guards and two bigs.
That's right.
You bring all four of those guys back, in my opinion, that's the nucleus you need to bring in the right pieces from somewhere else and maybe put together another postseason run.
Totally agree.
One guy that Nate Oates has already brought in, Wichita State guard Jaquan Walton, a 6'4", let me try this one more time. A 6'7" shooting guard. Here you see some highlights of him. Transfers to Alabama. Comes from Montgomery G.W. Carver High School. Averaged 14 points and about 5 rebounds at Wichita State. John, this is where we're at with the portal. You lose them, you pick them up, and Nate Oates has done pretty darn well when he's gone to the portal to pick guys up. Mark Sears, a perfect example.
Chase, I like the 6'7" guards. Then when you talk about 6'7" guards, you talk about guys that can shoot over defenders. You're talking about guys that are long defensively. And I think Brandon Miller, 6'9". When you start getting those kind of guys, you can spread the floor a lot, and then you can be more aggressive defensively. You can.
Nate Oates he's definitely going to have a lot of turnover with this team. It remains to be seen how many guys he loses to the portal. But Walton's going to be, I think, a key figure for this team next year. I don't think there's any question about it.
You don't bring in a transfer without thinking that guy going to be an immediate impact.
No question. And if he brings back Sears and Bradley, Bediako and Pringle, the 2 point guards, the 2 bigs I'm talking about, well, Walton's a guy that kind of plays in between that, right? He's on the wing.
Chase, let me tell you something. And I'm going to tell everybody out there something. Listen, Nate Oates had the #1 seed in the NCAA tournament. All that does for Nate Oates, even though we lost, all that does is he just opened the floodgates. Everybody that worked anything was going to want to come to Alabama. So you might see a whole lot more movement going forward.
It helps them. There's no question about it. All right, quickly we're going to move to Alabama football. Spring practice, of course, underway. 26 mid-year enrollees. Here you see some practice highlights, John. There are 26 mid-year enrollees this spring practice. All right, now let me break it down for you. 2 of those 26 are junior college transfers. Another 2 of those 26 are transfer portal guys. The other 22 are part of the signing class that they just picked up in February. So now, John, 10 years ago, 12 years ago.
Let me tell you how that have changed, Chase.
It's changed a ton.
I came from junior college, and I came during the spring. When I got here, during the spring, from junior college, there wasn't one other high school guy or another transfer at the University of Alabama. And me being here early is the reason I was successful at Alabama. Had I came in the summer, I don't know if I would have had the success I had.
You talked about the difference that made to come in the spring. Yes. Well, now we've gone, when Nick Saban first came to Alabama, at that time, it was normal to have maybe 5 freshmen enroll early, maybe 6 or 8, right, at the most. And that number has just gone up and up and up. And now it's almost the entire freshman class graduating in January, graduating in December from high school, enrolling in college in January so they can get that head start in spring practice. Nick Saban loves it. He's got to love it.
Man, it says a lot about the game of football, the evolution of the game, college game, but it also says a lot about these kids' parents. These kids' parents have put them in the position to be academically successful, to be able to do this.
No question. All right, sophomore Jaheim Otis, quick note on him. He's now lost 100 pounds since he signed with Alabama, was well over 400 pounds when he came on. Lost a lot of weight last year, played a lot of football for Alabama last fall. Apparently, he's now down to about 320 or so, close to 100 pounds anyway. Impressive for sure.
Take my hat off to him.
He's probably the most talented player among the straight defensive linemen that's coming back. I'm not talking about pass rushing linebackers, but among the DNs and the interior guys, he's it coming back.
I don't know how many people out there have tried to lose weight. I know I have, and it's probably the hardest thing I ever did. And for a kid to show up and lose 100 pounds, that take a lot of commitment, a lot of effort. So this kid is serious about what he's doing.
All right, we got to get out of here on Crimson Cover, but we got one more segment coming at you. When we come back, we're going to be talking about that NCAA Final Four this weekend. National semifinals being played on Saturday. The national championship game, of course, on Monday. We've got the Crimson Cover ticker and plenty more coming at you. Stick around. You're watching CCTV on WVUA 23.
It's good to know that in this impersonal world, there's still a local home-owned drugstore that can take full care of you and your family. The good folks at Northport Pharmacy. Owner and pharmacist Rob Colburn will personally see that all of your prescriptions are quickly and accurately filled and your questions answered. And be sure to check out their gift gallery for the finest in gift selections featuring Alabama merchandise, photo frames, children's clothing, beachwear, jewelry, and more. Remember, when you have pharmaceutical needs, see the man who will take the time to get to know you. Rob Colburn at Northport Pharmacy, located next to CC's Pizza, Highway 82 in Northport. Burnham Hahn Exterminators offers termite and pest control solutions for residential and commercial customers in the West Alabama area. Family owned and operated, now in its third generation, we stay up to date with the latest advancements in the pest control industry to protect your family and home from pests. We're an authorized operator of the Centricon baiting system. Burnham Hahn Exterminators, here when you need us. Call us today for your complete termite and pest control services.
Attention property owners. With General Steel Corporation, the nation's leader in pre-engineered steel buildings for over 4 decades, you can own a custom-designed building tailored for your needs. Call General Steel at 844-327-2921. General Steel supplies buildings to our nation's Fortune 500 companies, professional sports teams, and homeowners looking for a shop or barn. But steel prices are rising, so don't get left behind. Check out these limited-time building specials. This 100 by 250 clear span space is under $570,000 and perfect for manufacturing. Or this 60 by 100 building for only $120,000. Or this 30 by 50 for less than $47,000. Customized to be a shop or garage. Call 844-327-2921 today and tell General Steel how much space you need. With strong construction spending and high demand, this special pricing will not last long. Call General Steel today at 844-327-2921 to receive your Getting Started guide and a personalized quote. Call General Steel at 844-327-2921. That's 844-327-2921.
Monday Muster, brought to you by the Tuscaloosa VA. Our goal is lifelong health, well-being, and resilience for the veterans we serve.
Welcome back into Crimson Cover Television on WVUA 23. This segment brought to you by Crimson Village, the most active and fun-loving aging adult community in Tuscaloosa. Residents enjoy the finest in dining, activity, and lifestyle experience with great amenities and a super location right off of Veterans Memorial Parkway. Crimson Village offers 3 levels of care for your senior loved ones, including the Tide Memory Care Program, and they take the highest of precautions when it comes to COVID-19. So call transition specialist Tim Eads at 632-6699. He'll get you started. He'll give you a tour for your senior loved ones. If you have someone close to you that's in need of care, crimsonvillage.com is where you go online for more information. And, of course, remember, Crimson Village owns fun. All right, John, as we close out the show here, starting out talking NCAA Final Four, Alabama now eliminated, 4 teams left. San Diego State not only beat Alabama, John, they won their next game. They're in the Final Four. Really impressive. They're in the Final Four as a 5 seed. Here you see the schedule. They're going up against 9th-seeded Florida Atlantic. That's going to be on Saturday at 5:10 p.m. on CBS. Miami takes on UConn. That's at 7:50 p.m.
Keeping my bracket alive. I had UConn and Alabama in the final. Come on, UConn. What was it? The Timberwolves? What is UConn?
What do you make of San Diego State and Florida Atlantic playing each other in a Final Four game? It's amazing that a 9 seed is. I don't know
if you check this, but Conference USA, they got 2 teams in the finals in the INT. They've only lost in the 2 tournaments. The Conference USA have only lost 1 game. They're 16-1 in tournament play.
Championship game, of course, Monday at 8:20 p.m. There you see that. I like San Diego State to move on and reach the final. I'm like you. I think they see UConn. I think UConn wins the national championship with a victory over the Aztecs. But we'll see how things play out. Going to be a lot of fun. Definitely a ton of upsets. Nobody higher than a 4 seed in the Final Four. So the top teams all sitting on the couch.
I think I said that. Remember I told y'all kept talking about 4 seed, 5 seed, and I told y'all they were 4 or 5 seeds are really great. They're good.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't remember that?
Yeah, you're always right.
I'm dead. You always hated.
All right, we go to the Crimson Cover ticker now. A little bit of news for you from the NFL. Former Alabama tight end Irv Smith Jr. signs with the Cincinnati Bengals. Broncos coach Sean Payton insists Jerry Jeudy will not be traded. That's been in the news as well. And Calvin Ridley, reinstated after that gambling suspension. He's going to take that 0 jersey for the Jaguars. What about it, John?
Get out of
what
here,
about
man.
it? You don't like it?
No. You like it? 0? Get out of here.
Why do guys want it, though? A lot of guys want it. Is it just because it's a single digit?
It must be this new, what they call the millenniums or something. It must be this new generation. I don't want 0. Ain't no, name one football hero or football great that wore number 0.
Well, the NFL just started allowing the number to be worn. So you can't expect.
We imitate our heroes. We imitate our idols.
Jim Brown wasn't allowed to wear 0. That's all I'm telling you.
I'm just saying. You get. I guess that's for how many bets he won.
Or how many he got away with.
Maybe.
All right, we'll jump to the mailbag now really quickly. If you want to give us a mailbag question, go to crimsoncover.com, click the mailbag icon, shoot us an email, or answer it on the air if we can. Gary from Alabaster wants to know, do you think Alabama will bring in more transfers in April? Really quickly, John, we're running out of time.
No doubt. Yes.
Got to do it?
I think they're going to be looking if one fit the system. No doubt.
One little window for transfer portal guys to transfer again, the last half of April. That's kind of sneaking up on us.
I think if the guy fit the system, yeah, no doubt.
All right, really quickly, A.J. McCarron, former Alabama quarterback, completes 23 of 29, including 19 completions in a row in an XFL win over the Las Vegas Vipers. A.J. McCarron having a lot of success in that XFL. We got to get out of here on Crimson Cover.
I like the reason A.J. did that.
For John Copeland, I'm Chase Goodbread. We'll see you next time.
Respect, A.J.
It's good to know that in this impersonal world, there's still a local home-owned drugstore that can take full care of you and your family. The good folks at Northport Pharmacy. Owner and pharmacist Rob Colburn will personally see that all of your prescriptions are quickly and accurately filled and your questions answered. And be sure to check out their gift gallery for the finest in gift selections featuring Alabama merchandise, photo frames, children's clothing, beachwear, jewelry, and more. Remember, when you have pharmaceutical needs, see the man who will take the time to get to know you. Rob Colburn at Northport Pharmacy, located next to CC's Pizza, Highway 82 in Northport.
to Baseball Country, a ministry in West Alabama that reaches far outside the diamond. We create opportunities for people of all ages and backgrounds to encounter Jesus, from baseball and softball training for high school to the big leagues, to men's and women's team sports camps, men's and women's ministry, youth mentored hunts, service projects, custom retreats, and so much more. If you want to get in the game, email sam@baseballcountry.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Join us in promoting autism acceptance at the Tuscaloosa Autism Walk, April 16th from 1 to 4 at Sokol Park. Bring the whole family for an exciting event-filled day, including bounce houses, face painting, a live DJ, and more. Register by April 1st.